DawgNation, what's up? Thursday evening, back deck edition of Before the Hedges. I'm your tour guide on all things Georgia football and Georgia football recruiting. How's everybody doing tonight? Tell me one good thing that happened in your day today, this week. And I wonder if it will be YouTube or Facebook, which has the first comment through on our restream feed. Bo Bridges, you were the Miko Hardman of our show tonight. You were the first one through the banner. Philip Overstreet, I guess we can call you the Arian Smith. And then Big General, we can call you CJ Smith of the group. Everybody jumping in. Jordan Harris, Keith Bradshaw, Joyce Grantham Dugan. I'm sorry, Joyce. My bad, Joyce. Joyce Grantham Dugan. So, hey, everybody knows what's Saturday, right? Saturday, G-Day. Be very interesting to hang out with everybody, see everybody again. Can you believe, folks, it's only been about 96 days since – well, Saturday will be 96 days since Georgia won the national championship and claimed the national championship. How about that? Few things to talk about today. I want to make sure we try to format our show really well. If we had one of those grids, remember those cool grids that ESPN used to have, like on this side of the screen that said, this is coming, this is coming. So just going to have to play with me on this one. Work with me on this one. So we got and we'll talk about 5 jersey numbers I want you guys to pay really close attention to for G-Day. These are the young bucks, the young pups that I think have been turning enough heads, and you need to know their names. Mike Brown, Amy Autry Truelove. Amy Autry Truelove. Is that actually your real last name? It's cool if it is. I bet that was a lot of conversation with every elementary, grade school, high school, middle school teacher you had growing up. Or maybe that's your married name, and then you just have it with adults. Jordan Harris wants to know something about that boy Keem. Got a lot to get to. Let's see. We've got a lot of stuff to get to. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about 4 or 5 names from G-Day that I want you guys to really pay close attention to, because those are the guys that I think are going to impress you. Those are the guys that have been impressing everyone. And Amy, thanks for the clarification. So awesome. Really, really awesome. Really, really awesome. I bet I don't know if you have kids or you thought about having kids or you already have kids, you could really have fun with that True Love name. You could be like, name one of them Heartbreak or, it would just be a lot of, I'm a writer guy. I'm a words guy. I'm a creative guy. So my mind starts racing about, how you could do, this is Mr. and Mrs. True Love, and this is their son and daughter, fake true love, pure true love, that sort of thing. But I digress. See a lot of names on here. That's really, really rare that I kind of get crazy off on a tangent about a name. Amy Autry, your married name. Very good. Very good. So here's one thing I want you guys to know about, just right off the top. We're going to have top targets. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on. We're going to have only one tweet. I thought it was an interesting tweet because it was one of like 3 offers that Georgia sent out this week. Really odd recruiting cycle here, guys. I don't know if you know this. It's my job to probably tell you know this, but you know who has a number 1 recruiting class in the country right now? That's Notre Dame. You know who's number 2? Texas Tech. You know who's number 3? Still Arkansas, still Coach Pitt, still getting it done right there. Number 4 is Penn State, and number 5 are your Georgia Bulldogs. I do not think Georgia will lose 3 games this season. I think Georgia will lose at the maximum 1 game, 1 or 2 games this season at the most. My over-under would probably be 1.5. I would say that just bear with us, folks. Just bear with us, folks. I know this is I call it the dog days of recruiting, where Georgia goes through the longest stretch, where it focuses on spring practices. It focuses on these visits, getting to know kids, building relationships, especially with a lot of new faces on the coaching staff. I put this on the forum. Marshall Colbert, I didn't think 2 games was something easier, but if you lose the SEC championship game to a really stacked Bama team. Did you guys see Bama added another transfer from Vanderbilt recently? for their offensive line, and then potentially the game in the national playoffs. Those might be the two that they would lose. I don't see them losing any regular season games, but kind of staying on task here. This is where Georgia really needs that spring practice evaluation and then the summer camp evaluation when the players come in and work out. It's vital for a lot of these names that I think they're about a lot of spots. There's about 4 or 5 names, 6 or 7 names vying for 2 or 3 spots in the class. Highly interesting there. Barring a surprise or two, and G-Day is known for surprises or two, I would say that this won't be a crazy, wild, mega bonkers G-Day visitors list. It really won't. I don't, the way it's shaping up, the way it's forming, I don't think you'll see the quarterback from New Orleans show up. I don't think you'll see a lot of the guys show up. You might see, some of the in-state guys, a lot of the really highly rated in-state guys show up for G-Day, but also, Alabama's got G-Day going on, got their 8A game going on as well. I think South Carolina's got their game going on. Some schools have their games next week. Florida actually has theirs on Friday night, which is interesting. Couple things to hit. I'm going to hit some notes before I come back to the names to watch. This has been an interesting week. Michael Doherty, really good defensive back, versatile defensive back. I don't really know his best fit in the at the college level. I know he's a really good player, but I don't know whether he's a safety or a star, one of those money type players in certain schemes. He committed to LSU, and it was really LSU, kind of North Carolina. Those are the 2 schools he took some official visits to. He chose LSU today. Earlier in the week, really talented quarterback by the name of Christopher Vezina. He chose Clemson. That was another, Georgia's already only offered like 12 guys, folks that are quarterbacks in the 2023 class. And I think now half of those are committed. A couple of those 12 offers were actually way back when James Coley offers. So I don't think, maybe those still stand under Todd Monken lately. So you see Georgia really focusing on a few names in this class in terms of, what's going on. Those were 2 big decisions that happened this week that are every little bit's going to shape the 2022-2023 recruiting cycle. And you're having a lot of that. Another thing to bring in mind, G-Day, I want to make sure we hit this off the top. Our show is always brought to you by Kroger. This show becomes a podcast on the Apple Podcast platform, SoundCloud, Spotify. Quick reader interaction, quick viewer interaction, guys. How many folks have missed it on a Wednesday night, and they've missed Peaches or whatever, and you've played catch up and you've went and gotten it on Spotify, SoundCloud, whatever. What's that like? What's the experience like? And, would you recommend it to a friend? Does it help you get through Atlanta traffic? And y'all, Atlanta traffic is back with a vengeance. It's been back for a couple of weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks now. I tell you what, that's one thing I did not miss out of all that. Anybody here got the chance to go to a Braves game? I went to the Braves game on Monday night, the rings night. Folks, I'm going to tell you, if they were giving out those rings and they were valued at $500, there could not have been any more people out there at all waiting in line, trying to get into Truist Park to get their rings. Speaking of people in rings, let's talk about the Georgia Bulldogs. Let's talk about a special event that's happening this Saturday, actually Friday and Saturday. If you go to the University Bookstore, you got 2 opportunities. You got a 3-pack, a 3-dog night, 3-dog afternoon of Bulldogs you can see on both nights. Friday, you're going to see Trayvon Walker. You're going to see Isaiah Wynn, really DGD from the past there, and also Thomas Davis. Those 3 guys are having an autograph signing. It's from 4 to 6 p.m. at the UGA Bookstore next to the Tate Center. You get a $30 autograph, and you comes with a free 5x7 photo. Listen, look at this. Thomas Davis, first rounder. Isaiah Wynn, first rounder. Trayvon Walker, top 5 pick, maybe even number 1 overall pick. So that Trayvon Walker autograph, folks, is going to be worth a lot of money. And folks, I could not be happier, prouder for the way things are trending for Trayvon Walker. Great family out in Thomaston, Georgia, Upson Lee High School. Great people, great people. His father, Stead, served in the military. His mother, Lasonia. Such great people. And let me tell you a quick Trayvon Walker story. Got a million of them. Trayvon Walker was the kid in high school that would wait up for his mom and dad to get home when they went out on dates or when they were out by themselves or they were out with their girlfriends. He was that high school kid that was waiting up with the light on by the door, kind of giving his parents curfew. And of course, he was a brilliant basketball player. He was an all-state level player on a team that I believe won like 80-something games at Upson Lee. He was a state finalist in the shot put. I think he threw it eventually like 48, 49 feet. He'll be there. And that's day one. They won those three dogs, $30, 5x7, the UGA bookstore. And then the second day, you've got another great opportunity. Quay Walker, big play Quay from Cordele. You've got Jamari Salyer. You guys remember him from our program appearance a couple of days ago. And then you've also got Justin Schaefer, big Schaefer out of Cedar Grove High School. Such a great young man. Coach Pittman picked him up when he got to Georgia, wanted both him and Notori Johnson. Notori's actually going pro in this draft as well. Schaefer's probably going to be a fourth-round pick, something like that. Big physical mauler in the run game. I expect him to play 7-8 years in the league. Very athletic, very technical, very polished in the run game. Be a good run grader, be a good depth lineman. I think coming on, again, $30 autograph. It's at the UGA bookstore right next to the Tate Center. This would be from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. You get a $30 autograph with a free 5x7 photo. Dwayne Mark Killens. Dwayne, I don't know that answer. That's a good question. I believe I'm going to say, like everything else related to collectibles and memorabilia, that it is $30 each for each of those young men. You get to meet them. You get to shake their hand. And, you know, one of the things I got to do is I got to chat with Jamari Salyer recently, and we had some back and forth about what that's going to be like. Take a listen, take a look here at Jamari Salyer talking about what you guys can expect on G-Day. I got to give you – now, you didn't ask me to do this, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to let you folks, if you don't know, and maybe we're not breaking news here, I don't think. Jamari will be at the bookstore, right, for G-Day? Is that right?
That's right.
You
That's right.
name, you get to meet and greet. And, I mean, guys, this is, speaking as a father of a young man, this is the type of young man you want your son to grow up to be like, to be hanging out, to be around. If you want to meet Jamari, if you want to get him to sign something, he will be at the UGA bookstore on G-Day. What do you expect? Do I have that right, Jamari? What's that entail?
So from what I believe we're going to be there for a 2-hour slot. I don't think it's during the game. I think it's right before kickoff. It'll be a 2-hour slot. It will be me and a couple other guys signing before the game. But that's kind of what it'll be. It just be kind of a signing process, a meet and greet type thing with me. And I think there's some other guys in our draft class that'll be there too. But it should be a great opportunity to meet some great fans, meet some great players as well. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited to just kind of be able to allow people to put a helmet with a face, I guess you could say, and be able to shake some hands for G-Day. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to watch the guys compete as well. So it'll be kind of the best of both worlds, I guess.
Wow, there you have it. You see Jamari there. One other thing we can expect, because this happens every time Georgia has a G-Day, is that the players that signed, even the preferred walk-ons that are not on campus yet, while the mid-years will probably play in the game, will definitely play in the game. A lot of the names, like maybe a Branson Robinson, Cole Spear, Marvin Jones Jr., Christian Miller, a lot of those names that did not enroll in January. Georgia had 18 early enrollees on scholarship, 19 counting a preferred walk-on out of IMG Academy. They'll have another 10 guys there, another 10 scholarship guys there that will be there. I bet they will be recognized at the half, and another great stellar, folks. I'm going to tell you, I've said it plenty of times. I'll say it again. I think this is the best, most all-around war daddy, great football player class that Kirby and Georgia has ever signed during his time at Georgia. Very, 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 very impressed with this group of young men. A lot of future team captains. I think that's what I rate how good Georgia got it, because they're always going to get the elite players. They're really talented players, but I think they got about 10 or 12 guys in this class that I can see becoming a team captain for Georgia at one point in their career. Tom Lavelle, great point. Tom, good hearing from you, man. I don't know the last time I've saw you on here, but great to see you. Great to see you on tonight. Florida's actually having Thursday night lights, not Friday night lights. I think the game's on ESPN. They're going to play their spring game at night. That's what their Gators are doing, trying to drum up a lot of interest. One thing I will notice, and I'm sure my friend Brandon Adams is a little snarky about this and brings it up a lot. I don't think Florida has had a public commitment in quite some time since they hired Billy Napier. It's been a long, long time since they had a public commitment. So you got G-Day, you got Bookstore. You had some news this week. You have everybody's thinking about G-Day. Everybody's thinking about these spring games. The list, like I said, list is not going to be an amazingly wonderful list. And for Georgia, an amazingly wonderful list would be something like 5, 6, 7, 5 stars. There'll be a lot of 2024s. Really, folks, I'm going to tell you, this is a highly impressive 2025 and 2026 recruiting class, likes of what I've never seen. These are the rising freshmen and sophomores. A lot of these rising freshmen, folks, they look like juniors with all the SEC offers. I don't know whether it's somebody told me one time, it's like they just build them different. Youngins these days are different, whether there's something in the milk, something in the vegetables, something in the chicken. Kids are just bigger, faster, stronger. They have access to much more training. They're much more developed. Their bodies are more developed, and they look like guys that are only like 1 or 2 years away from contributing to a college roster when they are still freshmen in high school. That's what's crazy. The purpose of our program, the focus of our program, before we jump into our top targets and everything else, the purpose of our program tonight is to I'm going to give you guys some names of jersey numbers that I thought from the 2022 class to look out for. And, one big visitor, two big visitors. Let me do this for you. There's a 5-star defensive lineman by the name of Jaden Wayne. He's out in Washington. Alabama is all over him. Oregon is all over him. A lot of the big boys are all over him, but he will be at Georgia for G-Day. Jaden Wayne, 5-star, top 20 player, top 25 player. Be very interesting for Georgia. They need a huge visit there to stay in the chase there with Jaden Wayne. Also, a terrific nose guard. I think he's one of the better defensive linemen in the country, even though the rankings might not reflect that. That would be Kaden McDonald out of North Gwinnett High School. He is also expected to be at G-Day. Those are some early RSVPs I've gotten. Pretty big names, some of the bigger names that I have. I have a couple, 1 or 2 that I may keep in my back pocket, but those are the big early names that I think that should be in Athens on Saturday for G-Day to see his show. As we move forward on our show, I don't think Steve Rogers, that the champions will get their rings on Saturday. I think they're going to try to find a ceremony. Maybe it might even be in the summer. Maybe it might even be week 1 of the season, week 0 of the season, something like that before the NFL games start. For that to happen, I don't see Georgia getting the rings on a game day though. I think that would fall under the label of kind of a distraction for Kirby Smart wants to have a distraction free mindset for his football team every Saturday. 5 names, and I'm gonna 5 jersey numbers, and let's go in no particular order. I'm going to start with a name that I saw in the chat feed. I think one freshman to pay attention to would be number 23. Who knows who number 23 is? Let's play some interactive Before the Hedges. You guys been reading. You guys been following the practice reports. Do you know who number 23 is? If you do, drop a comment. You get it right, and I will shout you out right here on Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger on Wednesday Night Live. Number 23, going once, going twice. He plays offense. He's been mentioned in the chat already. Mike Jones, man, somebody needs to name a rap song after you. Somebody needs to name a rap hook about you. Mike Jones, Denali Morissette's number 23. I think he's going to contribute a lot for Georgia this year. I think he's going to be a dependable, maybe mid-season, a second-team type receiver. I think he's going to be that good. Denali Morissette has turned some heads. And the other receiver, this is a bonus name I'm going to throw in there. A bonus name for a receiver that I've heard is doing really well and will help Georgia a lot is Jackson Meeks. Now, he's a redshirt freshman. He was on the team last year. He will be getting one of those rings. But I put this on the DawgNation forum, forum.dawgnation.com, that I think the receiver position is going to be all right for Georgia. I think you get a healthy Arian Smith or a healthy CJ Smith. And I think it becomes dynamic. You've got Ladd and Dominic Blaylock back to old solid, steady Dominic Blaylock right now, just basically getting back up to his top speed, keeps getting better every week, getting more comfortable every week. Dom and Ladd, I think, are going to do some damage from the slot this year. Marcus Rosenby, Jack Saint, and Kyrus Jackson are names that have been pretty good. And I think A.D. Mitchell at times has looked like a number one receiver in the SEC. Colby Curry, you made me laugh. You made me laugh there with that Mike Jones riff right there. But that's one name. Denalyn Morissette, bonus name, Jackson Meeks. No, the next number to know is number 13. Do you guys know about lucky number 13 for Georgia, but unlucky number 13 for opposing offenses? Who is number 13 on the Georgia Bulldog defense? That is another freshman early enrollee, and he is quite talented. Sony Prescott, yes, I am ready for the cruise, actually. Quite talented. Number 13. So, see, I know people are, maybe the feed might be a little bit slow, but I know there's a delay of a little bit, but Johnny Webster comes through. Johnny Webster, man, somebody buy that man a drink. Johnny Webster got it right. Johnny, or somebody give that man a sweet tea or Coca-Cola, whatever his libation of choice is. Folks, I think when I look back on it, I put this in the forum.DawgNation as well, that I think Michael is the fourth highest rated recruit that Kirby Smart has signed, according to the 24/7 Sports Industry Composite rating. The fourth highest rated recruit that Kirby Smart has signed at Georgia. He only trails Justin Fields, Nolan Smith, and Keely Ringo. That's it. So he's higher rated than Zamir, higher rated than Jamari, higher rated than a lot of really talented football players that chose Georgia. Higher rated than Amarius Mims. Michael Williams has looked very, very good. Of course, he doesn't know everything yet, but I don't think he needs to. I think eventually Michael is just going to be, hey, man, go beat the man in front of you and go get to that quarterback. Very talented. Very, very talented. Another name I want to bring to mind is number 6, Johnny Webster. Do you know who number 6 is? Do we have anybody from Virginia that would be able to represent number 6 for the Georgia Bulldogs? That's another name that's another number that I was firing out at you guys to pay attention to, because I know this is what one of the best parts of G-Day is. Whenever it gets in the stands and they start looking for the rosters, or now it's on their phone somewhere, and they go, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy? What's that freshman's number?" Yada yada yada. Number 6 is Foster Moss is in the house, and Adam Butts is in the house. Number 6, Georgia on my mind. I'm going to give you full credit for that one. Number 6 is Kenny Mccintosh, but a new face on the Georgia defense would be the cornerback Dalen Everett. I think he's coming along. Mike Brown, I agree with your take about Morissette is very good at redirecting his body position, body control in order to make catches while in the air. Denalyn Morissette is another name to pay a lot of attention to. Of course, there's number 4, Oscar Delp. I think number 4, Oscar Delp's another name to pay attention to, because Oscar's really talented, guys. And I keep saying it. He doesn't have that home run gear that Brock Bowers has. He doesn't have that, turbo boost, that ludicrous speed, that nitrous oxide speed that Brock Bowers has at tight end. But he's kind of right there. I think, like I said, I think he's the type of guy that can give you about 60% of the production of what Brock Bowers had in 2021. And if he did so 50, 60%, I would not be surprised. Of course, you've got Eric Gilbert to think about there as well. He's looked fantastic. I think Eric Gilbert probably stand to lose about 20 more pounds. I think he's dropped a lot of weight, some considerable weight, but I think he catches the ball well. He's a fluid athlete, but he just needs to separate a little bit better, and that will come with Eric. First of all, please don't let me be the one telling you that, Eric needs to lose 20 more pounds. The main thing I should say, and I should back up my comments a little bit, is thankful. Awesome to see Eric Gilbert out there. Awesome to see Eric Gilbert going back to school, moving forward with his life, reeling in his great future potential play in this game of football. Fantastic. If this is as good as Eric Gilbert looks right now, I'm more than happy with it, because I know that young man deserves every ounce of happiness and every ounce of joy and every ounce of fun he's going to have this year playing for the Georgia Bulldogs in his home state. That is just a great story. A great story. I mean, If Gilbert gives Georgia 20 catches for 300 yards and 4 scores, aces, absolute aces. 10 catches, 150 yards, 2 scores, absolute aces. It's just great to see Eric Gilbert moving forward with his life. Great to see that. Thanks for Clarence Dawson. Thanks for the Hawks update there. I heard Kevin Huerter is looking pretty good tonight. We have one more name, and I don't even know if I have the right number for him, so I won't even say the right number. But the last guy I'm going to mention last is probably, if you want to sound really cool among your friends, the guy most likely to play right away, to start, to be a big time impact contributor amongst all the new faces is 22-year-old, 22-and-a-half-year-old Brett Thorson, the punter, the Thunder from down under. He's doing really well. And of course, he's got a leg. I hope you guys are interested in this story. I've got to tell you this story. So you guys don't know what it's like and he was studying like skeletons for 2 years in Melbourne, Australia. And in Australia, I'm going to try to paint this picture for you really quickly. Everybody in Australia wants to play professional rugby for the Premier League, for the Professional Rugby League in Australia. And they try. And if they flop out, they don't make it, they don't get signed, they don't get a contract, they usually have to figure out what they want to do with their lives right around age 19 or 20. It's kind of like, think about it, the national sport used to be baseball in America. And, you didn't, get signed by a baseball team, you get signed by a minor league team. You weren't playing semi-pro ball many, many years ago. Well, then you had to go out and make a living. Well, for a lot of these frustrated rugby players in Australia, they turn to football. There's a kicking academy in Australia called Pro Kick Academy in Australia. And what they do is they bring young men in with talent and they teach them how to punt. And folks, I think the Ray Guy Award and the Ray Guy finalists have been dominated by Australians, because a lot of times they come to America when they're 21 years old, kind of exactly the same age that Jake Kamada is right now. Thorson's got that type of leg strength. So what they do, Coach Chapman, very nice man, love talking to him. He told me about how it all really comes together. And they look around their field and they have so many talented pro kit cadets. They place so many players. I think they got probably 40, 50 punters placed in America. But what they do is they sit there and they match. It's almost like graduate school or med school for doctors or something like that. But they match and they go, Georgia needs a punter. Wow. And then they're like, they sit there and they go, okay, they've got Jake Kamada there. And he is a high-level, All-American, All-SEC level punter. So they have to look amongst their camp and they have to go, well, who is our very best punter? Who are one of our top punters in the world that we have in the entire Pro Kick Academy? And they want to match their excellent punter with an excellent program, because the one thing they don't want to do is don't want to see a young man come in and kick in America for a prestigious university that's on TV the whole time. And they go, okay, so-and-so is replacing Jake Kamada, and there's a drop-off, or he's not the same talent. Folks, I'm going to tell you, with leg talent and boom and RPMs, howitzer, Brett Thorson's going to give you that same type of Jake Kamada leg already. Now, will he have the control? I don't think he'll have the control, because it took Jake a while to develop that to his, kind of premium level he had by the time he got to his third and fourth year at Georgia. But I think Brett Thorson will be an All-SEC candidate at punter. And that, my friends, is what everything is about with Brett Thorson. He is going to destroy the ball. And last but not least, I had one more name I had in my back pocket, and that is number 71. Does anybody know who number 71 is? Randy Hall. Yeah, that's right. I'm in the Screened In Port studio. One of the things that everybody knows about number 71, well, number 71, that would be Ernest Greene III. He came to Georgia wanting to be a tackle. The industry rated him as a guard. He's like, nope, I'm going to be a tackle. I think I'm a tackle. I'm a great tackle. About 2 weeks ago, we saw Ernest Greene III, whose dad grew up in Savannah. Almost all of his family's in Savannah, except his immediate family out in California. His dad wanted to be a Bulldog, didn't get the offer, didn't get the recruiting opportunity to go play at Georgia. So he played at Savannah State, and then was drafted in the NFL by the San Diego Chargers, and he went and played for the San Diego Chargers. He met his wife, who was an Alabama fan from Alabama. He met his wife at San Diego State, house divided, Georgia fan, dad, Alabama fan, mom. They came together. Ernest Greene III, 17, 18 years later, he's now at Georgia, kind of fulfilling dad's dream of college football, going to go play for the national champions. Lo and behold, the Marius Mims decision to hit the portal now creates a fantastic opportunity for Ernest Greene III to probably move into that number 3, number 4 tackle in the program after spring ball. That's how good he is. That's how good he will be. He can also play guard, but very physical, very tenacious, knows what he's doing. Michael Williams did beat him for a sack in the All-American Bowl. I got to put that on the record there. But Ernest Greene III is another guy that I can see. Jamari is going to get drafted probably in the 3rd round. I can see Ernest Greene III being a 2nd, 3rd round type pick at Georgia after his career at Georgia as well, because he is very talented. And Amarius Mims moving on, it just creates an incredible opportunity for true freshman Ernest Greene III, who was one of the top players in the country. Everybody wanted him. Georgia got him. Ohio State was a big thing there because one of his really mentors in the game of football went and played for Ohio State, but Georgia won that recruiting battle. It'll be very interesting. I was having a conversation with Peyton Woodward recently. Peyton Woodward, if you don't know the name, he's a number 1 safety in the country. He's out in California. He also plays for the same St. John Bosco team, which sent Ernest Greene III to Georgia. He's a cousin of Kyle Hamilton. Everybody remembers Kyle Hamilton out of the Marist School, going to get picked really high in the 1st round out of Notre Dame. Cousin of him. But now it really doesn't seem crazy for Georgia to pull a player from California anymore, because you can sit there, you can go JT Daniels, Kendall Milton, yeah, big name there. Ernest Greene III, another name. Brock Bowers, another name. So it's almost like the pipeline is almost fully built to Georgia from California now. And Peyton Woodward really likes the Dogs as well. Of course, it's going to be a fight for Georgia to nail him. But I think one of the things to watch for being a student of this stuff that I am is how many times will Georgia and Ohio State and Alabama be able to sneak back into California, sneak over to California and pluck their best players and cherry pick their best players when USC and Lincoln Riley has it rolling now. They're opening up the checkbooks, the NIL deposits, the NIL opportunities. And the other thing is also with Dan Lanning in Oregon as well. Going to have a tremendous, incredible recruiting effort from Lanning. They just picked up, did you guys see it? The first really big pickup for Lanning in the Oregon era. For Dan Lanning. They got the number 1 offensive tackle in the country out of California. He had waited until maybe just 2 weeks ago, and Oregon snatched him away from USC and others. Very, very good. Very, very good pickup there for Dan Lanning. Already off to some good start recruiting West Coast talent for his Oregon Ducks. Guys, probably in the midpoint of our show, let me make sure I do this. We have shows brought to you by Kroger, of course. Easter's coming up. Easter services are coming up. You know, everybody, you think Easter, you think Kroger, you think my son loves the Robin eggs. My family's always liked the Peeps. Folks, fill your Easter basket with deals at your local Kroger. Save 30% on Easter essentials, plush toys, housewares, decor, and more. Visit your Kroger in-store or online at Kroger.com/Easter. Easter, folks, got to fill those baskets with Easter 5-star. We got to know this. We got to help people. We got to educate the program. My job is to talk to you guys about all things Georgia recruiting, college football recruiting. You good folks, your job out there is to educate folks on topics du jour that I come up with. What are your go-to 2 candies that if those candies are not in your Easter basket is trash? What are your go-to Easter candies? Dog Fan for Life B, quick update, bookstore. Jamari Walker and Justin Schaefer are signing on Saturday morning before G-Day, and then on Friday night, 4 to 6 p.m., $30 gets you a photo, 5x7 photo, and an autograph. Thomas Davis, big name there, retired dog, about to go to the Hall of Fame in about 3 more years. Then you've got Isaiah Wynn, also there, and Trayvon Walker, who's going to really not need that $30 anytime soon. He will not need those $30 anytime soon because I think he will go in the top 2 or 3 picks in the draft. Dog fan for life. B, there is your quick update right there. All right, we're getting them trickling in now. The go-to Easter's. We've got Tom Lavelle, peppermint patty. Randy Hall says anything chocolate. Man, I used to really like those Cadbury eggs. Those Cadbury eggs were something. They were something else. You know, when you were a kid and you got that Cadbury egg, you know, you'd feel terrible afterward. But you'd love them. You would love them. Harry Leggy says he reuses eggs in the basket and Roches. Joel Moody, anything by Reese's. I know it, man. Easter. Remember that Easter grass? Remember the pink grass? Everybody had prize eggs, right? That was like the best thing. You had the prize eggs, and Uncle so-and-so, my Uncle Gerald, would stuff like 20s in the prize egg. My Uncle Bill, everybody would. We'd all get there, their grandma and grandpa's house, mama and papa's house, and we'd and all over the driveway, all over the yard, underneath the magnolia trees, underneath all that, we go hunt some eggs. And, you know, I love that phrase that we had this phrase growing up. I guess it's a common phrase, but I didn't know it was common to the world. I thought it was really cool for our family. We always said, like, when something was lost, we would always say that's as lost as last year's Easter egg. Because sometimes you'd find that prize egg in June or in September. You'd be running around and you'd find that prize egg, which was also always really cool. Always really cool. On task. See, I try to have fun. Like, I try to have fun, and we try to mix in the fun stuff, and then we try to mix in all that other stuff. Top targets. Let's get to them. This is version 7.2. New name at number 15. New names all the way around here. Let's start with number 15 is Jalen Hale. That's the wide receiver out of Longview, Texas. Number 7 receiver in the country. Took a great first visit to Georgia. He's told me Georgia's going to get an official. Number 14, Damarion Parker, out of Central Phoenix, Alabama. Damarion Parker is, I believe, the nation's number 7 edge. He's a number 105 overall prospect. Gabe Harris out of Valdosta, Georgia, is number 13 on the list, I believe. 13 on the list. Hakeem Williams is number 12. That boy Keem has an official visit set to Georgia. I believe Texas A&M, and I think Miami might be his third school. He has an official visit set with at this time. And number 10 on the list is Kaden McDonald out of North Gwinnett High School, North Gwinnett, Georgia. He was a guy that had 20 sacks as a junior, even caught a touchdown pass, about 6'3", about 320. Georgia has always been very, very high on his list. Kaden McDonald and folks, well, all these guys that you see starting to look through this list right here, I can't imagine how great the University of Georgia is going to look after Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week when the draft hits and all these Bulldogs go in the first 2 rounds. They're projecting up to 10 Bulldogs going in the first 2 rounds now. First 2 rounds, which is insane. Lewis Seen is sneaking into some mock drafts as a first rounder there, along with Nakobe and Trayvon and Jordan Davis and Quay Walker. Then you've got in the second round, you've got Channing Tindall, you've got George Pickens. Stacked list. Number 9, I think next on our list is Caleb Herring, big-time edge out of Riverdale High School in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Number 7 edge, his brother plays at Tennessee. Caleb is going to choose where he wants to play, which is the best fit. Number 9 and 8, folks, we wrote about them this week on DawgNation.com. I hope you read that story. I think Quay Rousseau can get 10 reps with about 350 pounds on the bench. He has some of the most insane film I've ever seen. I think it was his 4th visit to Georgia this past week. He brought his buddy James Kong Smith out of Carver High School in Montgomery, Alabama, brought him with him on this week. They try to visit together whenever they can. James Smith came a couple weeks back. Quay missed that one. He came this time. And, folks, these guys are not about the photo shoots. They are not about the pomp and circumstance of getting recruited. They want to watch practice. They want to work out. They want to sit in on meetings. They want to watch the team lift. They want to be on their way. They don't really want to be show ponied a lot. Really, 2 very old school recruits. They do not like recruiting. They narrow it down to their time. from there. I really think Georgia and Alabama are the teams to watch there with both of those. Those guys are from Alabama. Those two right there. I don't know if I would say I have a great feeling about Georgia's chances there with Quay Rousseau and James Smith, but I would say I have a good feeling about Georgia's chances with both of those young men, because I don't think they could be positioned any better for both of those young men than they are right now. Number 7, Troy Bowles. That's, of course, the son of the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jamal Jarrett, another guy, very important guy. He will not be at G-Day this weekend. He's got a family commitment there. And quite honestly, if I was feeling a little bit more dapper today, I probably would have moved Quay and James Smith up maybe one or two more notches, because I think that's how good of a shape I think Georgia is with those guys. Number 5, Janelle Aguero. Number 4, Justice Haynes. Number 3, Victor Burley. Victor Burley took a recent visit to Georgia as well. Georgia's trying to kind of stay there with Clemson right there. Number 2 is Arch Manning. Did you guys see the story I wrote since the last time we sat together and we hung out together on a Wednesday night about Arch Manning, what made him the man? His younger brother's his center. He babysits. His calculus teacher loves him. He's the guy that threw a touchdown on his first ever pass when he was a 6th grader being snuck into a 8th grader being snuck into a scrimmage. Kirby Smart was there watching him last year, and he ran for a touchdown. 6'4.5", 220. Great high jumper, great basketball player, great athlete. Runs about a 4'5", 4'6" guy. He can really roll. And then the number 1 player on Georgia's top targets list again is one of the most college-ready safeties I've seen in a while. That would be Caleb Downs out of Mill Creek High School in Hoschton, Georgia. Others to consider, C.J. Allen. Love this young man out of Lamar County. Kelby Collins, another recent visitor to Georgia. Anthony Evans, folks. Now, this one's got some legs to it. Anthony Evans just long jumped 24 feet and about 3 inches. And he's already put a 10-6 in the 100 together. He's a wide receiver right now. He's a 3-star wide receiver, I think, on the composite. Currently committed to Arkansas, but there are some Georgia ties with his family. And Quincy Carter did bring him to Athens recently when he got the offer. You want another offensive tackle to think about there? Monroe Freeling out of Charleston, South Carolina. Visited Georgia a few times. Monroe has a 30-inch vertical leap at 295 pounds and 6 feet 7 inches. Roderick Kearney is a very athletic lineman that can play. I see him as an interior offensive lineman, but I realize how some folks might scout him and say he could play tackle. Dylan Lonergan, that really becomes maybe the Georgia's best understudy, alternate plan for the Arch Manning situation, with Chris Vezina choosing Clemson this week. Devin Hyatt, Brandon Ennis, Braylon James, Caden Lee, Kyan Lee, Xavier McLeod, who just visited Georgia earlier this week, had a 2-day visit. Tony Mitchell had really strong visit, I'm hearing, to Texas A&M recently. Reuben Owens II, that's the young man out of Texas. Brilliant running back, just a brilliant running back. Going to be really hard for any school to pull him out of the state of Texas. Deuce Robinson also visited recently. Madden Sanker put Georgia among his top schools. Kelton Smith also visited recently. Shamarad Umarov out of Denmark High School also visited recently. Raylan Wilson, Michigan commitment, also visited recently. Tyler Williams out of Florida, and then Richard Young, 5-star. Richard Young right there. Most important restock positions, really, I've said this for the longest time. Sometimes you should just watch a lot of things I do when I can't say things. I don't want to say things, so I just show another area. And the most important restock positions for Georgia in this class, I had offensive tackle to begin with. Folks, as I wrote this week when I kind of broke down the decision from Amarius Mims to jump in the portal, really Georgia is looking at Warren McClendon Jr. and Broderick Jones. If they have successful years this year for the Dogs, which I have every indicator that feel like they will, I think those guys will be NFL bound. And they will be part of another loaded draft class in 2023 for Georgia. And I think that's why Georgia, it is vital for them to add another pair of maybe not developmental tackles, more like the Ernest Greene type tackles in the 2023 class. Wide receiver is also very important. I think the wide receiver position will determine whether or not Georgia has a top 2, top 3 class, or the perfect counterpunch to all those defensive studs that they added last year in the 2022 cycle. Georgia has to be an offensive-handed class in 2023. Running back and outside linebacker. Folks, if Georgia got an outside linebacker like Clay Russaw or Caleb Herring in this class, that would be great. Recruiting breakdown, still stuck on 7 commitments, been there for a while. Georgia now has the number 5 ranked class in the country. I rolled through them earlier. Notre Dame, number 1. Texas Tech with their 15 commitments are number 2. Texas Tech, y'all. Number 3, Arkansas, number 1 in the SEC. Number 4, Penn State. Number 5, Georgia. Georgia has 4 out of its 5 highest-rated commitments are for the offensive side of the ball. Georgia has 210 offers so far for this class. That data is curated and collected by 24/7 Sports. Georgia has offered 3 new young men over the past week, 1 running back, 1 interior offensive lineman, and 1 defensive lineman. I think I had one tweet. I wanted to show you guys this week. One tweet I wanted to show you guys this week. Let me see if I can get to it as my phone dies. This is Jamichael Love. This is the tweet. This is a running back out of, I believe, St. Louis. Very fast, very impressive player. He is a guy that I love the way he spells his last name, by the way, Jamichael. He is a very talented running back. Very interesting when Georgia offers Jeremiah Love, Jeremiah Love. Class of 23. He's got a lot all over the place. He has a 10.76 and 100, 40.5-inch vertical. He has a 4.2 GPA. Plays a lot of positions. He just got the offer from Georgia. Watch that one because that guy is a talented athlete. You love it when a young man has a 4.2 GPA, grade point average, and a 4.38 in the 40-yard dash. Very intriguing there. He plays for a team, I believe, that has won four state championships out of St. Louis, Missouri, and they've won them. They've won those championships maybe recently, like the last 3 or 4 years. Interesting to see Georgia offer a running back. Kind of sort of late for Del McGee right now in this class. Of course, he could probably play a lot of positions. He could play a lot of positions across. Jeremiah could play a lot of positions. Could also be a wide receiver, a safety, or a corner. You know, he's about 6'1". He's about 195. Jeremiah Love. Very interesting to see that offer come there. Really impressive player. Just picked up a offer from the Georgia Bulldogs, and he has some impressive film. Very impressive film. You can watch his tape for just a little bit, and you can see why Georgia offered him in April out of St. Louis, Missouri. Guys, got a question. Lean in real close. Let's talk Georgia football, Georgia recruiting. I want to ask you guys this because this is your show as much as anyone. This is your show just as much as anyone. What are you looking for? What are you excited? What are you excited? What do you want to see the most out of G-Day? Going to be back in Sanford for the first time since Jordan Davis and Jamari gave those big speeches. What do you think about? What are you looking forward to? Good question, Stacy. Stacy Moreland, I don't know if Georgia will do that. I don't know if Georgia will, because folks, here's what you do. And this is the honest truth, is when you get in this business where these players are getting in bed with these collectives, it's not exactly like promise and playing time, but it's sort of pretty close to it. Because all these collectives that are ponying up all these money for players like they're the left-handed reliever or the closer or the stud switch hitting shortstop, they come in with a lot of coin behind their name, and those companies, they're not going to be blind investments, or otherwise the return on investment for these guys is just going to go away, because why would they invest in a player that they may or may not play? Folks, I'm going to stress this. I feel that there will be a market correction in about 2 or 3 years where the money goes to established players. And it might be crazy. It might be a situation where, I don't know, that Arkansas finds a running back or Kansas State finds a running back. Great example is Jahmyr Gibbs at Georgia Tech. the money then flows in from collectives to bring that player from where they were at, maybe a lower rated school, a smaller program, to a big boy program. I think that would be more important. I think Georgia will be competitive in those areas, but listen real close, folks. The really smart recruits and their families and their trainers that I talk to, the people that really get it, they look at it this way. Would you want $2 million, $1.5 million in your hand from a collective, with it, which that is good, or would you want to be in the best spot where you can get $25 million from the NFL in 3 or 4 years? Very important there. A lot of families, they weigh it and they go, a lot of these kids get taken care of in college anyway, and there's going to be NIL money for everyone. There just might not be the millions and millions for everyone. But these players have going to make a really important choice whether they want to be paid a great chunk of change now, or do they want to make sure they're maximizing their potential for generational wealth in 3 years. Got to pick the right spot, got to pick the right developers. And I think what Georgia's doing right now, developing linebackers, developing running backs, developing offensive linemen, developing defensive linemen, I think it's pretty hard to beat across the country. I mean, it probably be mirrored. It could probably be equated, but I don't think it's getting beat right now. Stacey Moreland, I hope that's a correct answer to your question. Joel Moody wants to see Eric Gilbert. Colby Curry's talking about Dalton, Georgia stand up, Whitfield County. Randy, I'm going to tell you what. You see this one way, tomato. I see it another way. This is some bad evaluations on Alabama's part because they've signed so many receivers that you good people out there would love for me to be telling you about. This guy would have chosen Georgia. This guy would have chosen Georgia. And they're not working out. Their evaluations, their reads on their character, their mindset, their work habits are not right because they're having to go to portal for their shopping to fill their roster needs. Now, they got this bona fide great roster. All kinds of players. The players came back, but they got holes. They got a lot of holes. And that's what, Randy, that's what I say. When you go keep shopping for these portal guys, really says something about the recruiting and the young men that are in your program, that are in your locker room right now. Harry Leggy wants to see Beck and Brock Vandegrift sling it. Here's what I'd love to do. I'd love for, because if they follow the traditional G-Day format, which is, I say this and they probably won't, but here's what usually happens is they put the first team offense against the first team defense. So the first team offense has the second team defense, and the first team defense has the second team offense. So that would be Gunner, most likely Gunner and Carson. And I would put Stetton and I would put Carson and Brock on one side, and then I would put Stet and Gunner on the other side. And here's the thing. That number one defense, Georgia's drop off in the secondary from the number one defense to the number two defense, very vast. And I think that's where the number two offense was going to have a strong offensive line up front and some pretty good backs. I think they're going to have a chance to make some hay against the number two defense in G-Day. If they follow that format, they might do things where they let Stetson play for both teams and what they always do, something radical like that. But, that's the thing I would look to watch for. Randy Hall wants to see the speed of the wide receivers. Clayton Davis, thanks for hanging out. Eddie Burleson, thanks for joining us. Joel Moody wants to see Gilbert. I like that. Sony Prescott wants to see how fast Georgia's defense will be. Everybody, the other name I should have thrown out there and the names to know, Jamon Dumas Johnson, Pop, number 10. Clayton Davis, what is your question? I mean, Clayton, I'm sorry, man. Listen, I'm trying to answer as many questions as possible, along with these chirps of these crickets in my backyard. So, please, Clayton, help me out here. Folks, let's help Clayton out. If Clayton has an answer, somebody say, hey, Jeff, Clayton's question is, I don't want Clayton to leave this room tonight, to leave this feed tonight, not feeling like he got something to eat on his dinner plate. He didn't feel fed. Kyle Bowie wants to see Stetson light up G-Day. Colby Curry, very good take there. Just wants to see everybody stay healthy, no more injuries. Tom Lavelle wants a quarterback commit to help with recruiting. Well, if it's the right quarterback commitment, your prayers will be answered there. Mike Brown wants to see another Noshawn Marino. Another Matthew Goodwin wants to see Gunner. again, one of the things I want to look forward to seeing is, like, again, all these Georgia faces, Darius Smith, Christian Miller, the guys aren't there yet. Cole Spear, Dylan Bell, Julian Humphrey, all those guys. They really are frothing at the bit. Dejon Edwards from Kevin Green. Game is at 1:00 on ESPN2. Joel Moody. I don't think Malachi Starks will be starting with the ones. Randy Hall. It will be televised. It's really the only game that gets the network feed, that kind of premium spot. I see some general questions about commitments. Folks, I think the next commitment will probably come sometime mid-May, early May, that sort of thing. Guatemala Mike has some questions about Arch Manning. Mike, I don't think he's going to take a visit anywhere this weekend. If he does, it will be a 11th hour game time decision. Because folks, I think Texas has already had its spring game, or its spring game is next week. And then Alabama and Georgia have their spring game at the same time. So that would be kind of showing cards a little bit for him to make a return trip to one of his schools he likes a whole lot, to go out and see their spring game. Clayton's question was, is UJ setting up an NIL committee? Yeah, that's in the works. It's a Georgia collective. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but it's being backed and ran by John Staten, former Georgia linebacker John Staten. Georgia's collective will be up and running. I just don't know if it'll be the same as the A&M collective or the Tennessee collective right now. Randy Hall, thank you for playing John Stockton, Magic Johnson, playing point guard, getting me that question. Steve Rogers wants to know, is my hair turning gray or is it just the light? Steve, it's probably a little bit of both. I'm on my back deck. I got like 2 lights on me. So that's why my face is so lit up real well. And then everybody's going to talk about, your red nose. Well, a lot of that has to do with, I got 2 bright lights on me, so you guys can see me in my backyard, on my back porch. Guys, 57-minute mark. It's been a great Before the Hedges. I told you about 4 or 5 names to watch G-Day that I think I'll be watching closest. Folks, Carson is really looking good. I think really, I've had this opinion shared with me more than once this spring, that if Georgia was faced with playing Carson Beck, that they would be just fine. Looks very comfortable, very talented. NFL folks love him. He checks every box. He's got a big-time arm, movement, can run around. Carson is going to check a lot of box. And for those that, for whatever reason, they roll their eyes and they're not happy with what Stetson Bennett brings to the table, a highly functional SEC quarterback, Stetson Bennett. Carson Beck's going to have the ball speed. He's going to have fit it in tight windows. He's going to be able to move around. He's not going to be a statue in the pocket. He's going to be able to command the offense. He's a highly intelligent out there. Guys, it's been another Before the Hedges. Hey, go see the bookstore. Go get those autographs from Jamari Quay and Justin Schaefer on Saturday, Trayvon, Isaiah Wynn, and Thomas Davis on Friday. I had a great time hanging out with you tonight. I got to tell you guys a story about Brett Thorson. I got to tell you guys about a story about Trayvon Walker. We got to talk about Amarius Mims, that decision. We got to talk up Ernest Greene. We got to talk about the recent running back commitment, not running back commitment, excuse me, running back offer. Let me rewind that. Let me walk that thing back here. Don't get ahead of yourselves, guys. The running back offer out of St. Louis. We got to talk about a lot of things. I threw in some fun, humorous stuff about Easter. If you hadn't so already, have yourself a great week. Maybe throw a like on this page, whether you're watching it on YouTube or on Facebook. I sure appreciated you guys hanging out. Clayton, Mr. Davis, thank you for hanging out. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see everybody at G-Day. If you see me walking around those sidelines, say hi. Don't be a stranger. Can't wait to see everybody back in Sanford Stadium on Saturday. I've been your DawgNation recruiting host for tonight. I'm Jeff Sentell. That's the intel. Be well, and we'll see you guys again on the pages of Dog DawgNation.com. God bless you, everybody out there. We'll see you again real soon.